What is good, YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the debut project of Lady Nogrady called the Hate Love EP. Now, this project came out in late 2011. A little bit of backdrop about Lady Nogrady is the fact that she was kind of a protege of Blood on the Dance Floor. That's how I found out about her. And also, Jackal Goldkick had shown me a song or two of her. I don't remember which ones, but he had shown me a song or two of her. And then I looked further information up about her to see what else she had done. And she had dropped at least one project. But she was basically a protege of Blood on the Dance Floor. She appeared on the All the Rage album from 2011, which I reviewed back in February. And she's basically on one of Blood on the Dance Floor's most popular songs called Bewitched. That's kind of the concept. She's the chick on that song. And she collaborated with them a number of times. And it kind of was kind of the situation. She managed to put out a project and I kind of wondered about it. And that's kind of the situation. She does kind of do stuff similar to Blood on the Dance Floor, which is pretty awesome. I like the concept. It's gonna be kind of a charming thing for this album to get like a really high score, just because it's very quality and there's a lot of good stuff to sit there and talk about. But I kind of look after it like this chick kind of reminds me of like something that Blood on the Dance Floor would do, just kind of in a more kind of glossy and just pop more sense. I think she understood the concept of breaking out of the alternative mold a little bit better than Blood on the Dance Floor did. I mean, they started to do it with like All the Rage and a little bit on Epic and Evolution and some of that type of stuff. I feel like this project kind of had higher hopes than what it actually got to. And it's really too bad because I looked up after this project and it just did not. It's not on Spotify. I mean, you can at least find it on Spotify, but you can't listen to it. So it's just kind of the concept that I don't know why this project was kind of pulled. I mean, you can find it on YouTube, but it's just kind of the concept. It was kind of a task to be able to find it, but Lady Nogrady is really not around anymore, and it's too bad about that because this is a pretty stellar project. I definitely feel like just in 6 songs she proved that she had quite a bit of vitality in it, and it's definitely something to kind of appreciate and see here. So that's just kind of the concept about it. But there were 3 singles from this EP. There's 8 songs on here. 3 of them were singles. The first single is Hello Girls, and this one is really kind of like a glossy kind of reminds me of like there's like some pop song from like the 90s that goes like love me, say that you love me. Kind of reminds me of that song. I just would have to kind of say it's kind of within that context, very similar to that kind of pitch towards it. And this has like a real kind of dance pop kind of feel towards it. Not quite as dance crazy as some of the later singles that you're going to see on here, but it definitely works within that sense to be able to say it. It's kind of a nice, effeminate kind of dance gloss kind of song. Definitely works as like the first single as far as that kind of goes. It's definitely like the context behind that one. It's just a pretty good way of kicking off the project. Hello Girls has some nice synths on the song. It's just definitely kind of like a pretty like this would be a charming song to hear in a dance club just because it's got a lot of energy towards it. Just has that good kind of bounce and that sort of thing. The second single is Heartthrob Killer, and this has JJ Demon, of all people, as a backup on the rap verse on here. And it's pretty interesting to kind of get that. I actually like JJ Demon on these type of songs. This is the sort of song he needed to do way more. Definitely. I like these kind of songs. JJ Demon did a great job on here. Only thing about it is about, like, after about a third or 2/5 of his verse, Lady Nogrady kind of starts singing in like the background and it's difficult to kind of hear his verse, but I did like this concept. This one's a little bit more of a dance club ready. This one's more of like almost kind of an EDM, but this definitely a heavy dance club number where it just kind of gets thumping. Just has a real nice quick tempo about it. Pretty powerful one here. That's 2 for 2 in terms of the singles by Lady Nogrady, and her vocals are pretty catchy. She's really good at some of these hooks, and she has some great melodies, especially for like a YouTuber that only has less than 1,000 subs. So this is kind of the concept. It's really too bad that she didn't get further with her career and be able to do a lot more things with it because this record is strong. It's definitely good. So the third single is the title track, Hate Love, and this one definitely is another nice one. Hate Love is another dance club type number, definitely in that sort of vein, but it just reminds me of more of like a daytime rave kind of song. I don't know if raves are typically open during the daytime or if dance clubs to that degree are open during the daytime, but it just feels like if you go to the dance club or something like that during the day, this would be a kind of song. It's just very kind of a minimalist beat. It kind of has that kind of pulsating kind of it has that pulsating kind of EDM type feel, but it's very minimalist. It doesn't have like a sprawling instrumental on here that really is quite as infectious, but it just kind of has like more thumps and kind of bass towards it, and it's just kind of reminds me of just like a daytime kind of day club kind of feel towards it. It's just kind of more where the sunlight would still be out. It's just kind of, I like dance club songs, and Lady Nogrady definitely has a good variety of these dance club songs to kind of do. So it's just kind of in that context that it works like that. So, but now I'm gonna recommend the 7 songs out of 8 that I recommend to you. So basically, the only song I really didn't enjoy off this 8-song project is just the Heartthrob Killer remix, and I just felt like that one didn't really contribute enough to like the overall package compared to the Hello Girls remix, which really kind of upped the tempo of Hello Girls, really turned that one into like a sprawling kind of quick pace, rave induced kind of manic energy kind of club song and dance club song. I just felt like the Heartthrob Killer remix didn't really do much for it. I mean, it was kind of trying to make it almost like a mid-tempo trance type song, but it just didn't pull it off well enough. It was kind of distorted and had like some kind of looming, kind of hollow vocals on there, but it didn't work as well. But some of these other ones, I feel like I like the pace a lot of Thrill of Your Kiss. That's a real example of another one that's up there in terms of the best pace with like Hello Girls remix. And I also felt like Half of Me is another pretty pounding dance club song also. I mean, all of these for the most part, minus Fuel the Fire, dance club songs. But I definitely feel like Thrill of Your Kiss, Half of Me, Hello Girls, Remix, and Heartthrob Killer have some pretty nice, good paces about them. These are all definitely ones that kind of have that. But Half of Me probably has one of the best beats on here. That one definitely does. But the most dance ready one I would have to say would be, apart from the Hello Girls remix, would probably be Thrill of Your Kiss. That's just kind of the concept there. And then to kind of talk about a song that's not quite as heavy and pulsating, the dance club song, I would say Fuel the Fire, the first song that you hear, is definitely one that is just kind of more of like a pub kind of song. I mean, I can see this song being kind of a dance song. Like, I can see Fuel the Fire kind of being like a small kind of dance club song, but it's just more of like a foot tapping kind of song. I kind of feel like Fuel the Fire is not so much like a dance club song as much as like a foot tapping kind of song. You just kind of listen to it in a pub and you have a beer or something like that. You just kind of mac on some chick, something of that sort. It kind of goes with it. It's just kind of like a nice kind of low, not so much down tempo, but maybe high down tempo, low mid tempo kind of song about it. This has a nice kind of sultry and kind of pub kind of energy about it. I just would have to say it's just interesting, kind of get it, but I can see it kind of being like, I mean, I feel like the melodies that Lady Nogrady had on this song was just good enough to the point where it can make you want to get up a little bit, but it's just kind of more of just like a lounge kind of song. I definitely see it as such. Yeah, that's kind of the concept about it. So me liking 7 out of 8 songs. Yeah, this record's going to get a 10. I feel like just due to the fact of me only not liking one song, I feel like that's good enough for me to be able to say that that's basically the concept. I mean, I could give it a 9.75. I'm going to give it a 10 just because of the impact of this. But I just would have to look after it. Like, I don't know the degree as to how difficult this project is to get a hold of, which is kind of a problem. Maybe that would make it go back to a 9.75 if you couldn't get a hold of it. But for the most part, the quality of this music is just stellar enough to say that it should be a 10 out of 10. I feel like this definitely whet my appetite for wanting more Lady Nogrady and stuff. I just would have to say this is a good concept, and she can keep up with Blood on the Dance Floor. I definitely feel like if you want to see what she was up to, check out Bewitched and the All the Rage album by them to kind of see what she did. But this is kind of the concept that this is a lot of stellar stuff here that kind of works. This really happens to be a thing. The social score is definitely going to get a 10 out of 10 because this whole album is just dance club and just social kind of outing points. This is kind of the thing. Lady Nogrady was definitely kind of a vivid personality around that time, and she stepped out and had some good times. So it's just kind of would have to say that it works and just has like pretty stellar vibes about it. So yeah, I just would have to say in terms of the future, it's difficult to kind of talk about that because I just don't know who has really messed with Lady Nogrady. I think the only ones that would really be, the only person who would really be left I could think of that would have messed with Lady Nogrady any further would just be JJ Demon, and he's kind of, I'm going to have to see more of what JJ Demon's up to. But Blood on the Dance Floor is dissipated, and JJ Demon is kind of doing his own thing. But this is definitely a project. If you can find it, I would definitely recommend picking it up because it's full of like dance club and kind of sultry kind of cuts on here just for perfect, you know, dance action.